Happy New Year, television family. Hope you had a good weekend. I know I did. But we're back. It's Monday, the 5th day of January, 2026. And I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Everything's back to normal now. New Year's a done deal. The holiday season is over. It's back to school. A lot of people were working shorter hours or not at all. But now everything's back to normal, so to speak. And we're back out of here for another exciting week of local television, as we'd like to say in the business, TV. It's cloudy, it's foggy, it's 34 degrees, going to be warmer than normal for most of the week. Mountain passes are going to get a lot of snow, and I mean a lot of snow. It really begins overnight tonight into Tuesday, and then it's not going to stop until about Friday. You can make it all the way over Stevens Pass now, but you're still going to have to deal with the pilot car. Alternating traffic pilot car, which is going to slow you down. You have to take the chum stick, of course, because you can't get through the Tumwater. They're going to work on the chum stick today. The Washington State Department of Transportation they got some soft shoulders. The road isn't failing, but it's got some pretty critical points along the chum stick highway. It's been getting a lot more traffic than it normally does. So quick heads up, starting at 8 o'clock this morning, you're going to have pilot control traffic through the chum stick as well, so you just can't seem to catch a break. We have all that important information coming up, weather-wise and traffic-wise and news-wise, sports. Everybody knows what happened on Saturday night for the Seahawks. In case you missed it, Kraken are playing about the best hockey they've had all year now. They won a while ago. We'll have that. The Wild are off to a good start, too, for the new year. So it's we got some pretty good sports-related news as well. On our last show of 2025, we had Beth Stipe on, the last second push. This was the New Year's Eve show for the Give NCW campaign, which ended on New Year's Eve at the end of the day. And now what are they going to do with all that money? And how do they spend that money? And how do they invest that money? Beth will do a follow-up conversation with me in the back half of the program. It's tour time at 2 minutes after the hour. I think I can remember what it is that I'm doing, even though we haven't worked for 4 days. I like 4-day weekends. They need to bring those back or start using them. That's about all we can see from the Wenatchee Heights camera. That's the reflective light off of the actual cross, which is located adjacent to that tower. That's about all we can see. That's about it. Malcolm's trying to find something. He's zooming the camera around. Malcolm, by the way, of course, broadcast manager here at the TV station. Downtown Wenatchee, we have to use either the really, really low cameras so we can see stuff, or the cameras that are way up above the cloud and the fog bank. That's about our only two choices. And so there we go from the top of the Cascadian looking south towards the big old crane from the Widener apartment homes as that continues. Remember, folks, it's going to be 6 stories high plus a smaller 7th story. It's going to be tall. It's going to dominate the skyline for quite a bit. Camera number 3, I don't know what we're in store for. We have a Rondo Rock. Before I forget about this, heads up, sunrise is still 7:48. It's been at 7:48 for another week or so. It'll be at 7:48 tomorrow, but the days are getting longer. Today will be 1 minute and 16 seconds longer than Sunday because sunset is a little bit later, and then starting on Wednesday, sunrise will be a little bit later. And finally, our 4th camera up to Biddigoat, again up above the cloud cover there, so we like that. OMAC is at 36 degrees, by the way. We have 3 slides to show for you. First of all, heavy mountain snow. They're going to get really tons of it, and they could use it because they're way behind on the snowpack. Of course, all of the major mountain passes plus Mission Ridge and the ski resorts with the big atmospheric river in the middle of last month pretty much took care of the snowpack. Well, they're going to make it up starting tomorrow through Thursday with some big time snow on the 2 major mountain passes. We're mentioning Stevens Pass again because you can get all the way over it, but why, I don't know. The DOT is not recommending Stevens Pass as a cross-state travel route because you still have to go through the chum stick, and they're going to have construction in the chum stick today, and then you have the pilot car on the east side of the mountains, and then once you get to the summit, you can make it all the way over to Skycomish and right on through the Gold Bar and whatever, but it's actually going to be quicker to take Blewett and I-90 because of all the delays. And how much snow are they going to get? Lots. Take a look at the snow totals for this is basically today through Friday. Stevens Pass is expected to get 56 inches of snow. They're going to measure it in feet and odd inches, and you can see the heavy snow is going to be in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before they ease off a little bit on Friday. I-90 Snoqualmie Pass is expecting upwards of 41 inches of snow. Blue Pass, no problems at all, but they're only going to get about 8 inches of snow, but that's still a lot of snow for Stevens and I-90. 2025 in review for the year, the second warmest year on record. The average temperature for the entire year, 53.9 degrees. So did it feel warmer than normal? It was warmer than normal. In fact, we normally have 35 days of the temperature getting to 90 or above. We had 42 days of the temperature getting to 90 and above. We started out right where we should be for precipitation until we got to late spring, early summer. Then the rain stopped and we went through a long dry spell. And then of course we had a really wet November and a really warm November and a very warm December. By the way, while you look at that, December 2025, the warmest on record by far. The average temperature was 37.5 degrees. The old record was 35.5 degrees. So when we talk about average temperatures, that's the high and the low for every day, and then they do it for the entire month. Usually when you set records, they do it by maybe a quarter of a degree or a half a degree. We don't break records by 2 degrees like that. And of course, we had 5 days in the month of December with record high temperatures and 2 other days where we came within a degree of tying it. So it's official, second warmest year on record last year, and we had the warmest December on record, and we had the second warmest November on record. So we're still waiting for winter, and we still are. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort care and community come together. Once the fog burns off, and it's pretty prevalent right now, but eventually it'll burn off and we'll see sunshine with a high of 41 degrees. That's, yes, above normal. Clouds return tonight. Overnight low about 29. Not going to see the sunshine on Tuesday. We're looking at rain. We're going to start out in the morning hours with the snow level at about 1,000 feet. That's why the passes are going to get hammered. Whatever snow we get is not going to last very long because we're going to be bumping up to 38 degrees. So here in the valley, probably rain, and most of that would be in the afternoon hours. Snow level goes down to 1,600 feet tomorrow night, but we're not expecting any snow, just heavy snow in the mountain passes. So right around, that's the magic number for snow level, right around 2,500 feet. At that and above, snow. That and below, rain or a rain-snow mix, but no real accumulations because look at the temperatures. 40, 40, 43, 41, 42, well above normal. We had a warm November. We had a warm December. We're having a warm January. We're going to take a break and come back and have your, is it Monday? It's Monday. We were gone for 4 days. I lost track of what day of the week it is. We'll have your Monday news in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
It's time for BC Outdoor Sport Fishing TV, Season 16, with your host, Mike Mitchell.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Still a ways from sunrise, 7:48 this morning. When the sun comes up, it'll start getting the job done. It'll burn off the clouds and the fog. Sunshine for most of the day today. Clouds roll back in tonight. Significant snow in the mountain Cascades down here in the Cascades. We're down here. We're not going to have any real snow, but some rain and some warm temperatures too. It's 11 minutes after the hour. Authorities have identified the Tonasket man who was shot and killed by law enforcement during an arrest warrant operation last month. 40-year-old Samuel A. Mittler. He died back on December 19th as the U.S. Marshals Service Special Operations Group closed in on him near the intersection of Spur Drive and Summit Lake Road, about 10 miles east of Ellis Ford. Mittler had been wanted on an Okanagan County warrant, charging him with assault and intimidating a public servant. Investigators say Mittler wielded a shotgun in the confrontation with the police. Sheriff Paul Boudreau is asking the North Central Washington Special Investigations Unit to examine the case. That team reviews use of force incidents with law enforcement in the region. Well, it's a done deal. Chelan County Commissioners officially closing the sale last week of 19 acres in Malaga for the Center for Drug and Alcohol, its new facility. The center offers inpatient and detox programs. It's currently housed in a county-owned building on Okanagan Avenue that needs extensive renovation. In 2023, the center got $19.6 million for an expanded facility through the state's capital budget. The county purchased the Malaga property for $2.65 million and then turned around and sold it to the center for the same price. Construction on the new facility, by the way, is set to begin later this year. Chelan Fire and Rescue Commissioners are looking for candidates to fill a vacancy on their board. The board is one person short after the departure of Ron Simmons, who was just elected in November. The open seat with the fire district's governing body has a term of 6 years. It'll conclude on the last day of 2032. Interested community members can find applications, which are due on January 30th at chelan7.com or in person at 232 East Wapato Avenue. Interviews will take place from February 2nd to the 4th, and selected candidate will be announced on February 6th. In 2025, it was about the busiest news year around here any of us can remember. Last Tuesday, we showed you the news from the first 4 months of the year. Last Wednesday on New Year's Eve, we recapped the middle months of the year, the summertime, and now, as we say one last goodbye to 2025, we look at the biggest news stories of September, October, November, and December.
In September of 2025, 2 local wildfires were triggered by the same dry lightning storm on Labor Day. The Lower Sugarloaf Fire ignited east of Plain, while the Labor Mountain Fire was kindled northeast of Clay Elum. That fire soon burned across the county line to threaten Chelan County communities, including Wenatchee and Blewett Pass. Between them, the 2 fires would consume nearly 86,000 acres of wildland by November, while firefighters' efforts helped to spare homes and property in the area. It could have been a tragedy, but a quick-thinking semi-driver averted disaster when his vehicle lost its brakes heading downhill on Grant Road. The semi was hauling a load of harvested pears and heading west on Grant when the brakes failed. The 21-year-old driver maneuvered through the intersections at Valley Mall Parkway and Highway 28, then intentionally rolled the vehicle on the bypass at the foot of Grant Road outside Fred Meyer. No other vehicles were struck, and the driver suffered only minor injuries. Wenatchee Valley College parted ways with its Vice President of Administrative Services, Brett Riley. WVC President Famous Harrison said the decision not to retain Riley was made due to the college's financial health. Riley, who joined the college in 2017, oversaw new campus construction developments, including the Michie-Twy building. In a breakthrough the entire Wenatchee Valley had been hoping for, searchers found the remains of child murder suspect Travis Decker, the subject of a national manhunt after the killing of his 3 children along the Icicle River. Parts of Decker's skeleton were found with the help of an aerial drone on Grindstone Mountain, not far from the murder scene. The bones were positively identified as those of the 33-year-old Decker. Dozens of police agencies had spent hundreds of hours over the previous months combing the area around the crime scene and deep into the enchantment's wilderness. In October 2025, an early morning flood temporarily closed the Serve Wenatchee Valley office and Fresh Hope Market on Orondo Avenue after a water line broke. The Wenatchee nonprofit hosted a market and other services for low-income clients. Executive Director Mike Malman and his staff were able to relocate to an East Wenatchee site while the damage to their building is repaired. On National Hydrogen Day, the Douglas County PUD cut the ribbon on a hydrogen manufacturing project years in the making. The $27 million plant in the industrial Baker Flats area is designed to produce hydrogen fuel through electrolysis for consumer and industrial purposes. The Wenatchee and East Wenatchee police departments disabled a default setting on their flock safety surveillance systems after learning that the U.S. Border Patrol was able to access their license plate data without their knowledge. Washington law forbids local police agencies from cooperating with most federal immigration matters. A review by the University of Washington found that Flock had a default setting that gave Border Patrol access to its data, while individual departments that held contracts with the company were unaware. That discovery, plus a finding by a Skagit County judge that Flock's surveillance video is subject to disclosure as a public record, led Wenatchee police to disable their cameras entirely 2 months later. In November, a crucial boost to the operating levy for Eastmont Metro Parks and Recreation failed as the general election came to a close. The yes votes trailed by more than 9%. The levy lid lift would have boosted the park's taxation rate for property owners from 15 cents to 22 cents per $1,000 of assessed value. Supporters say consequences could include the closure of the Eastmont Aquatic Center and program cuts across the board. 68-year-old Adnan Abuamo of East Wenatchee was found shot to death inside his vehicle along Highway 28, about 7 miles south of BB Bridge. 1 day later, a police team arrested 16-year-old Juan Valdovinos Vasquez of Bridgeport on suspicion of his murder. Police believe Valdovinos may have arranged to meet with Abuamo to discuss buying gold or jewelry. Abuamo was the executive director of TranCare, a Wenatchee-based nonprofit that gives transportation for low-income patients who need to reach medical appointments. Sandy Zarate, a Wenatchee Valley dance instructor, became one of 50 people statewide to be honored for outstanding contributions to the public humanities. Humanities Washington is a state-run nonprofit that funds cultural programs. The agency bestowed its annual award to Zarate and 49 other recipients across the state. Zarate has taught free Mexican folkloric dance classes with the Peshastin Public Library for the last 4 years. Wenatchee Valley College trustees voted to keep President Famous Harrison in his position for the next 3 years. Harrison was the target of criticism over the college's handling of harassment and personnel matters in 2025, which put WVC's accreditation in jeopardy, but the vote to extend Harrison's contract was unanimous. The new agreement runs through 2029 and will pay Harrison more than $275,000. The Chelan Douglas Health District reached a $1.3 million settlement with patients whose private health information was compromised in a data breach more than 4 years ago. The computer intrusion in 2021 allowed hackers to make off with personal data belonging to roughly 188,000 people. A class action suit followed, and both sides agreed to a settlement that would pay up to $5,000 per person for proven financial losses, plus up to $599 additionally. A head-on crash near Wenatchee's Easy Street roundabout killed 2 young passengers and severely injured their driver. 12-year-old Bentley Knight and 14-year-old Eric Figueroa died from their injuries. Both were from East Wenatchee. The driver, 18-year-old Jared Smith, was hospitalized. Police say the crash may have resulted from an illicit street race. It remains under investigation. No charges have been filed. In December, a pair of auto crashes on Highway 97 and 97A proved fatal for 2 people and injured 6 others. One of the wrecks involved a Douglas County police pursuit, while the other left a Cascade High School bus full of student athletes flipped onto its side. The crash on 97A involved a Ford Ranger colliding head-on with a school bus carrying Leavenworth wrestlers to a meet in Chelan. A 63-year-old passenger in that pickup truck died, and bus driver Jose Solis was injured, but the students on board were spared. An Eastmont School Board member was charged with domestic violence in December. Jason Hines, recently re-elected to the board, was accused of assaulting his teenage daughter and stalking his former fiancée. He was briefly jailed at the Chelan County Regional Justice Center. The Eastmont School Board will likely consider Hines' status in January. The next court hearing in his criminal case is scheduled for late February. Powerful winds and more than half an inch of rain swelled rivers and left 11,000 Chelan County households without power. Highway 2 collapsed in places and was washed out in others, and residents in western Chelan County spent up to 3 days in the dark. The village of Stehekin suffered the destruction of its water treatment plant in a landslide, and the Lutheran Retreat Center at Holden Village was evacuated for the winter after being cut off from its access road. The Wenatchee River at Peshastin crested at more than 16 feet, and more than a dozen people in the Leavenworth and Lake Wenatchee areas needed rescue as their homes were inundated. In the wake of December's atmospheric river event, Washington became the site of a federally declared disaster. Jefferson Robbins, NCWLIFE.
It was, in fact, a busy 2025. What will 2026 hold in store? Don't know. Don't have a crystal ball. Had one, sold it on eBay. That's what's going on, and we'll have the news for you tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. The NCWLIFE Evening News, so you can stay informed of what's going on around here. If that doesn't fit in your schedule or you are unplugged for your television consumption, if you just use the internet, that's cool too. Our news will be on our YouTube page right around 5 o'clock or so. We stream, of course, all the time on our website. And if you have a news tip, send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. We'll get you caught up on what happened over the last 4 days in sports. Here's a lot. It's next. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
The winter prep sports season is here, and NCWLIFE channel has you covered. Follow the Cashmere Bulldogs, Eastmont Wildcats, and Wenatchee Panthers right here. Coverage is brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Global Car Care, Highlander Golf Course and Grill, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, and Valley Tractor. Follow the action all winter long on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Just about 24 minutes after the hour, in case you missed it, it was Saturday night. The Seahawks win their first division title. Nicely done. First conference title, maybe? First division title, anyway. Since 2020, they are now just 2 home wins away from going to the Super Bowl. They beat San Francisco 13-3 on Saturday night. Just the 4th season-ending game ever where the winner was guaranteed the top seed in the playoffs. Coach Mike McDonald, defensive end Leonard Williams, and quarterback Sam Darnold all agreed it was a big win.
Man, obviously just incredibly proud of our team. All the things that we've been working at since we walked in the door, especially this year, is coming to life. You know, just incredibly proud of them. They played incredibly hard. They played together, played complementary football. Each phase picked each other up. It was a great game. It was a great game. So
I mean, it means so much. I think one of the only guys on the team that really knows the journey I've been on is Julian, and like we both embraced each other after the game and just talked about our path. And I've just been so thankful to be here and so thankful for this season, and just the way everything's been playing out is just really incredible to be having this type of season towards the end of my career.
Just an incredible game. Kind of a weird game. I feel like, we, as an offense, we didn't execute the way that we wanted to in the red zone at the end of drives. But our defense, they step up, time after time, and our special teams played lights out. But incredible win. I'm so proud of the guys in that locker room, and we're going to celebrate this one. But we know that we got a lot of work to do, and we're going to get right to work on that this upcoming week.
Now we just don't know who we're going to play. We'll get to that in just a little bit. There it is, the final standings for the NFC West for the year just concluded. Of course, those 14 victories is a team record, but of course now they play 17 games. Look how tough the NFC West was, maybe the best division in the NFL. So who do the Seahawks play next? We don't know, but here's a wild card schedule. Take a look. 2 games Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then 1 on Monday. The Hawks will play the lowest seeded remaining NFC team on either January 17th or 18th. Seattle Kraken improved to 6-0-1 in their last 7 games, and for the first time this year, they won in a shootout. They hadn't won a single shootout, but they did it. They defeated Vancouver on Saturday 4-0 in a shootout. They will be at Calgary tonight, 6:30 on Prime and King and Kong. Women's college basketball from over the weekend. There was a lot going on. Take a look at the scores. The Cougars are finally starting to turn things around a little bit. The Lady Cougars are. They've been struggling, and a big victory for the Huskies, knocking off the 6th-ranked Wolverines on Thursday, 64-52. Men's scores. It took Gonzaga a long time to get going yesterday, but they did, and eventually they rolled over Loyola Marymount 82-67. Cougars beat the Beavers yesterday. Indiana got by Washington on the road for the Huskies. Always a tough place to play there. High school basketball, the smaller schools, Friday. There's all your scores. There were quite a bit of games going on. Your winners: Elmira Cooley Heartline, Curlew, Davenport, Bridgeport, Valley Christian, Brewster, and Moses Lake. That was Friday. Saturday, more basketball. Waterville Mansfield rolled right along. Omak over Okanagan. A lot of these were holiday tournaments. Some were league games. And as you can tell, there was some pretty good action going on Saturday for girls in the smaller schools. The slightly larger schools look something like that. Cashmere continues to roll pretty good. They played really good. They had no problems with Wahluke on Saturday, 47-11. And the big score, the big schools. The Giza Credit Union Shootout, hosted by Wenatchee and Eastmont High Schools, had a bunch of teams for 3 days worth of basketball. There's the results for girls on Thursday, the results for the girls on Friday, and the local resorts on Saturday. That was the girls. Now it's the boys team. Same deal. We'll start with the smaller schools, the B schools, from over the weekend. Again, some of these were league games. Many of these were holiday tournament games. So there you go. There's all your winners and losers from Friday around the region in the boys' smaller schools. And on Saturday, there you go. More basketball. By the way, Waterville Mansfield, both the boys and the girls playing pretty good so far this year. The boys' 2A and 1A scoreboard looks something like this. Cashmere easily dispatched Cascade 62-9. Remember, they used to be league rivals. And then Cashmere continued their weekend sweep by taking care of Wahluke 66-49. There's your other victors from over the weekend in the 2A and 1A. And finally, the big schools. Again, the Giza Credit Union shootout was both boys and girls. Wenatchee and Eastmont lost Thursday. Eastmont won Friday. Wenatchee lost, and then Eastmont and Wenatchee both lost on Saturday. Good weekend for the Wenatchee Wild. Good way to start the new year. They played a couple of tough teams, including Everett, who's very good. They lost to Everett in the middle of the weekend, 6-0, but they beat Portland on Friday, and then they beat Portland yesterday in overtime. Here's Austin Drade with the highlights.
Success here the last couple of games. On to the power play tonight. Chance in front, jostling it in, they score! On cue! Back post, Jodry sneaks it home. It's 1-0. Wedman gets to the far corner. Almost sealed off with Luke Christofferson. Near hash mark, going back door, wrist shot, they score! Mason Kraft, 2.5 minutes in, and he's got 2 points. It's 2-0 Wenatchee. Wild up top, Toll sends it back door, wrist shot, they tip it in and score! Kalen Jodry, 5 seconds later, it's 3-0 Wenatchee. Popped up with Hahn, looks to push it over far wing, and it's stolen, headed the other way with Wilfley. Stretching out for the pass, Miller rattles it home and scores up top, and Portland answers. It's 3-1. Pass stolen, Grosskloss trying to get loose. Grosskloss to the net, that one walks in, they score! right off the referee in the corner. Jogging the other way, looking for numbers 3-on-2, wrist shot. And Miller got his pocket picked. However, a chance from the left wing circle. Weiermeyer finds it and wires it home, and it's 4-2. The Wild lead cut to a couple. And Massachusetts near corner. Pulls it back to the hash marks, angles it off the wall for Wedman. Walks it to the far corner, cycled out to the right point. Wristed on, blocked in heavy traffic in front, collecting it. Hahn turns and scores! Sam Spihart, right point, pushed off the puck by Sherbina. Wenatchee trying to joust this one ahead. Sherbina's loose. Sherbina at the blue line. Can he keep it in front? Backhand chance. Roots it. He scores. Tipped over the blue line. Caught up with Nathan Free. Brown looking to go back door, and another incredible save by Tversnik. Almost kicked the goalpost right off the pegs, but he gets a stop on the far pipe and a whistle with 12:09 left in the third. Wenatchee with Kraft in the middle of it. Down to 5 seconds to play. It's cleared, and the Wild are in the win column again.
That, of course, was highlights from Friday's victory over Portland. Austin will be my guest tomorrow for Hockey Talk. That should be pretty fun. And don't forget, Friday, we go back to work. It's the boys and the girls. Eastmont hosting the Moses Lake Mavericks. We will have both those games here on the NCWLIFE channel. We'll be streaming the girls' game and broadcasting the boys' game with Grant Olson on the call. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. It is, thank God it's Monday day today. I didn't make these up. Your other obscure holiday you can celebrate is weigh-in day. Can't remember the last time I weighed myself. I actually have no clue how much I weigh. I'm sure I weighed the same as I did when I was 18. No, today is National Bird Day. Always on January 5th. Happy National Bird Day today. I'm kind of torn between keeping exotic birds as pets, because I think birds are just supposed to be birds. I don't know about keeping them in a cage, although I did have a cockatiel who loved me and I loved it, but I don't know. I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I kind of have a hard time with it sometimes. There are about 10, nobody really knows how many different kinds of species of birds there are in the world. Don't have time to count them. They think about 10,000 different species of birds, and they think about 900 of those species are endangered. My favorite bird is the ostrich. Ironically enough, it's the biggest bird. Can't fly, but it can run fast, 45 miles an hour. Happy National Bird Day today for you Audubonians out there. It's 33 minutes after the hour. Today in history, on this date in 1914, Henry Ford did something his employees loved and all the other members of the automotive industry hated. He came up with this unique idea, $5 a day. Now, this is 1914. That's $162 today. That's not bad. He cut the shifts from 9 hours to 8 hours, Henry Ford did. Obviously, the rival companies were not happy with this. What are you doing? Paying your workers $5 a day for 8 hours work? You're an idiot. Well, the Ford Motor Company saw their gross profits double in 2 years, and everybody else got on board. I mean, manufacturing a car is not exciting, stimulating work, so they make up for it by giving you more money. Henry Ford announces the 8-hour workday, $5 minimum wage plus bonuses, and when the company makes a lot of money, everybody wins. That was on this date in 1914. 101 years ago today, Nellie Taylor Ross of Wyoming becomes the very first female governor in this country's history. Fun facts about female governors: 49 women have been governors or either were governors or are currently serving as governors. We've had 49 total in this country's history. There are 12 current female governors. 8 of them are Democrats. 4 of them are Republicans. Alabama, Arizona, Connecticut, and New Mexico are the only states to have elected women from 2 different political parties. Arizona alone has had 5 women governors. 16 states have never elected a woman governor, and 6 states have never even nominated a woman governor from either major party. So there you go. That was on this date in 1925. 93 years ago today, they got busy. The Golden Gate Bridge, when you can see it, It's pretty spectacular. Construction began on this date in 1933 for the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco Bay, or over San Francisco Bay, I should say. It cost $35 million, which is $523 million roughly in today's dollars. It was completed ahead of schedule and below budget. Don't see that anymore. And finally, happy birthday to the space shuttle. 54 years ago today, January 5th, 1972, Richard Nixon announces the shuttle program. It will cost American taxpayers, he told us, about $5.5 billion. It ended up costing $196 billion. 5 space shuttles ended up going into orbit during the space shuttle program. Of course, Atlantis, Discovery, and Endeavour are still around. We'd lost the Challenger and the Columbia. And there was one more one called the Enterprise, which was built but never flew into space. Birthdays. One of the inaugural inductees out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Sam Phillips, the founder of Sun Records and the Memphis Recording Service. The legendary Sam Phillips was born 103 years ago today. Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Howlin' Wolf, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, Roy Orbison. He discovered them all. Sam Phillips, born in the state in 1923. Robert Duvall is 95 years old. He is completely retired now. 7 Academy Award nominations. Of course, he won the Best Actor for Tender Mercies. He was great in The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Lonesome Dove. He was in MASH. Robert Duvall is 95. We lost Diane Keaton back in October. She would have been 80. How old would Diane Keaton be today? She was born in the state in 1946. She got an Academy Award for Annie Hall. She was also in The Godfather, so she shared birthdays with Robert Duvall. Bradley Cooper, 8 Academy Award nominations. Has he won any? That I don't know. I didn't actually do my research. But happy 51st to Bradley Cooper. My favorite track cyclist from Malaysia celebrates a birthday today. There he is. He's an old buddy of mine. Azu Hassanin Awang. Azu Hassim. Hi, Azu he's celebrating a birthday today. And happy birthday to Dave, by the way. There's Dave Grandstrom wearing our headset. Dave Grandstrom, who happens to be related to a certain coworker of mine. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. I would tell you what Mike Magnotti's opinion's about, but I loaded it into the system last Wednesday, so I can't remember. And then Beth Stipe joins me for part 2 of our conversation. They got all the money from the Give NCW campaign at the end of the year. Now what? Beth will explain when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
NCWLIFE channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCWLIFE would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. With professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. So when the state government wants to change the rules about unspent used gift cards, did you hear about that? They want the companies who have been now keeping the money on unused gift cards to surrender that money to the state as unclaimed property. Well, I do think some changes need to be made to ensure you and I are compensated or advised that we have an outstanding credit on a gift card. I mean, but I don't see any reason for the government to get the excess. I mean, how many of our pockets do the politicians want to stick their hands in? Sheesh. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCWLIFE, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Welcome back to the program. Beth Stipe has joined me once again, the Executive Director of the Community Foundation of North Central Washington. Last time she was on the show, it seemed like it was a year ago.
I know, totally.
It was Wednesday of last week. In that interim, you get the money, you wisely invest the money, and then you start doling it out to the nonprofits who have deserved getting doled out, if you can say getting doled out on television. And we need to address this right off the top, Beth. One of the reasons that people trust you guys so much and have for the 40 years or more.
2026 is 40 years.
That's right. I know. My mom had something to do with it.
She did.
She had a big role in it. Anyway, is that you guys are taking the money that people trust with you, and you're investing it wisely.
Right.
That this is cool. You're not buying stock in Blockbuster and Kmart and Sears. It doesn't work that way. You have smart people who know what they're doing, so the money grows.
Right.
Let's talk about that right off the top.
So yes, so we have a pretty conservative investment policy that the board has approved, and that we go out and we hire an independent consultant that helps our volunteer board of trustees to select and review and hire and fire managers to invest the funds that are entrusted at the foundation. So that is a 60% equity, 40% fixed income portfolio.
That is pretty conservative.
It's very conservative. There are no hedge funds. There's no private equity. It's all mainstream investing strategies. And as your brother, who was on the board for many years, would say, it's the keep it simple, stupid investment policy. You know, we keep it very very easy.
And it's gotten you through some tough economic times.
Very much so. I mean, for 40 years, this has been our investment policy. And, you know, when we look back at what our 10-year return is, we're right at that 8%, which is kind of the sweet spot of where we want to be, because what that allows us to do, it allows us to have a very high spending policy, which is the money that we send out on an annual basis on our endowed funds. It also allows us to keep up with traditional inflation rates and grow the funds a little bit so that there's a little bit more that gets to go out to help the causes and purposes that donors have selected to entrust us with their funds.
And your daily overhead isn't very much. Your expenses are pretty low. You guys keep a close eye on the checkbook.
We are a very tight organization. We have only 8 employees that manage 3 counties worth of giving. And last year we sent out over $10 million in grants and scholarships in the region. So we think that we are a very lean, mean giving machine.
Oh, I like that. It's the lean, mean giving machine. So they get the money.
We need a jingle. You should come up with a jingle for us. Yeah.
Give them money. Give them. No, that's not good. Well, let's dole out some dough. Yeah. The press releases came from Tom and Ms. Perky.
Yes.
And the crew there. And it's one thing to take in the money. It's the next step is to dole it out, and that is probably the most difficult part. It's all volunteers.
It is.
Who go through all of these nonprofits. You want to give them all what they want. You can't.
Right.
But eventually, it's like here's what you asked for. Here's what we're going to give you, and nobody walks away and says, "Darn."
Right. So, well, there's a few that walk away and say, "Darn."
But it's hard. It's a hard job to do, to have to say not as much as you want, but the volunteers, and they're all volunteers who do this, do
all
great
local
work.
People,
so
right?
You're giving away money. Here's the press releases. Talk about the dough and all that stuff.
Yeah, so first of all, I have to say, so there's kind of a two-pronged approach to how the funds happen for our Legacy Fund grant-making program. And that is unrestricted funds that come to the Community Foundation, and then restricted funds that come through our Founder Circle for each of the individual community legacy funds. So we have legacy funds in all of the, I would say, major areas of North Central Washington: Waterville, Mansfield, Okanagan Valley, Methow Valley, Cashmere, Upper Valley,
basically
Wenatchee
outside
Valley,
of Wenatchee Valley,
Chelan Valley.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
So all of the communities have their dedicated legacy fund where volunteers from that area do a 3-year term that they come in and they go out and do all of the site visits along with a trustee from the Community Foundation as well as staff from the Community Foundation. They visit with all of these organizations, and then they have this budget that they have to deal with and to make those difficult decisions on how to allocate those funds. And as an example, the Wenatchee Valley Local Advisory Board had to do almost 60 site visits, and they had to determine out of those 60 organizations where they could fund their roughly $300,000. That's a lot of those are a lot of organizations to have to consider and to make those difficult decisions, because we just don't have the funding to meet every need.
It's too bad you don't.
I know. Well, you know.
Maybe one day we do.
One day, you never know.
I was on the same kind of committee. I was with well, they're not around anymore. I was with the United Way, and I was on their funds distribution committee. It was hard work.
It is.
But you also were able to pick out. You got a sixth sense for those people who took your visit seriously.
Oh, yes.
It's like, oh, we'll just make Dan some cookies and he'll give us money. And it doesn't work that way. And the volunteers are not only good people, but they have a lot of common sense.
Yes.
They know if maybe something that wasn't quite on the up and up, that we're going to do a little homework here.
Yes, and the Community Foundation also offers support for those, oftentimes emerging organizations that are maybe just getting started. Maybe they don't have a balance sheet, so we can offer them access to resources where they can learn how to do those kinds of things and get their house in order, if you will, so that when they come back the next time, if they are unsuccessful in this year's cycle, there are future opportunities for them as they continue to improve their efficiency and effectiveness.
How we got 2 press releases, and there's just, I mean, it's really cool. I want to mention all of them. I can't.
I know there's so many.
I don't have time. The bottom line, it goes to 3 pages.
Yeah.
Here, there's very few of these I have not heard of. They're all well deserved. Some are larger than others.
Yes.
And ergo, they get maybe a little bit more money.
Yeah, we also have, we're always learning at the Community Foundation. And so this is only the second year of this Legacy Fund program. And so one of the things that we, as we started to move our grant making more localized than it already was, we realized that there are organizations that kind of don't fit in a box necessarily. Like, as an example, Community Action Council. They provide access to food for all of Chelan and Douglas counties. And so within Chelan and Douglas County, we have multiple legacy funds. And so how do you support or put Community Action Council only in the Wenatchee Valley when they're supporting Chelan, Cashmere, Upper Valley, Waterville, Mansfield? So we decided that we were going to do a regional pool. So we set aside a little bit of money out of our unrestricted funds that our local advisory boards are able to make a recommendation when they visit an organization that has an impact outside of their territory, if you will. They can recommend that back to the Board of Trustees of the Community Foundation, of which they have a pot of money, and they can allocate additional resources for those organizations that are covering a much larger footprint than some of our smaller organizations that are really localized.
And it makes perfect sense. I mean, why would you want to have somebody who lives and works in East Wenatchee decide what kind of money a nonprofit in Tenasket gets?
Right.
When the folks in Tenasket should be making those decisions.
Exactly.
So that's kind of a no-brainer.
That's the idea.
So who in your organization is the umbrella person when it comes time to distributing all these funds?
Oh gosh, so Jennifer Short, who is up in our OMAC office, is a rock star when it comes to doing the incredible effort that it takes to get all of these resources out into the community. And so she is literally driving thousands of miles every year, and she's doing over 100 site visits between all the different local advisory boards and legacy funds, and she's doing also the management of those 75 volunteers, keeping them happy and where they need to be, and getting them the information that they need to make the decisions that they need to make.
You sent me a couple of photos. I think we have time to throw these up. I think one is going to be. Well, that's a great photo.
Denise Sorm. So Denise is in charge of our programs as well as our donor stewardship. And so she is actively engaged in all of these programs, because everyone that walks in the door of the Community Foundation is someone that adds value. And so Denise makes sure that they are cared for in a way that is of a standard that we believe in. And one of the indications of a strong community is libraries, and the NCW libraries got some bill. Yes, they did. So this is the library system in North Central Washington, which, creeps a little bit outside of Chelan, Douglas, and Okanogan counties, because they cover 5 different counties. But my gosh, if you look at the work that they do, it's unbelievable. The value that they add to this region is incredible. If you are homebound, they will send you materials. And if you want to learn something, they have all sorts of different programs. They add access to different materials for students who are learning robotics and all sorts of different things. It really is a hub of education, entertainment, and intellectual stimulation that we are very fortunate to have. This is not your grandmother's libraries, and I got a perfect example of that. I have one of these. I have never tapped the potential of my smartphone, but starting in January, they're going to be doing classes for idiots like me. Oh, I'll be right there with you. Yeah, who don't know how to run a laptop, who don't know, I have these tools at my disposal, and I'm barely utilizing them. And they're going to show me how to do it. And people would associate that with a library. You go in, you check your book out, and 6 weeks later you bring it back and check out another book. Now you're going to get it on your machine. Yeah. Now you can get it on your Kindle or whatever. Amazing. So library, for free. Yeah, free. It doesn't cost you a dime. No, it's amazing. When you have places like NCW libraries and the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center, and great parks from the PUD and the cities and all of these things, people go, I think I want to move to Wenatchee. Looks like a pretty cool place. It's pretty awesome, and the people here are generous, and that's why we have these wonderful assets. Speaking of a wonderful asset, give her a big hand, everybody. It's Beth Stipe. Happy 2026. If you got anything on your mind, or you want to just
kill 20 minutes and come by, we'll put you on television?
Sounds good, but you forgot to mention the big thing that's happening. Yes.
The scholarship. Well, I'm not eligible.
Well, it's true.
This is,
well, that's not true, actually.
What about,
do you want to go back to school to become an electrician or something like that, or a teacher? We have scholarships for you.
I'm kind of set in my ways.
Well, that's fair, but we do have scholarships for just about everyone.
It's time to sign up for that. Talk about that.
Yep. So January 1st, our scholarship application process opened for all of the different, almost 150 different scholarships that we have at the Community Foundation. Last year, we gave almost $1.5 million in scholarships to students throughout the region. Everything from nursing to trade schools. So it really is open to not only graduating seniors from our regional high schools, but it's open to those, what we would call non-traditional students. Somebody who maybe has wants to improve their skills or go back to school, or they didn't go to school and now they want to, now it's time and they're ready. So definitely go to our website at cfncw.org and check it out, because there's a lot of opportunity there for people who are interested in improving their skills.
And maybe you can do a little homework, say this is going to be a growth industry in our area. I'm going to live in Wenatchee, but
Absolutely.
I want to be able to, and you can say, maybe I should become an electrician or a plumber or something.
Or a nurse.
Or a nurse, a skill that I don't have, but I want to learn it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be 18. You can be 38, 48. You just can't be 61 like I am.
You still could.
I know.
We can teach old dogs new tricks, Dan.
I was thinking about becoming a vascular surgeon.
Well, you might be a little too old for that.
Beth Stipe, the Community Foundation, North Central Washington. And hey, take it from somebody who knows going through the morass of trying to find scholarships is a pain in the butt.
We make it easy.
Having a one-stop thing for scholarships, because you said there's hundreds of them out there.
Yep.
And don't do your own homework when somebody who knows what they're doing will do it for you.
Absolutely. So. That technology thing really does sometimes make our lives better.
I am soon-to-be Dr. Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Still 34 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. You'll see it's cloudy and foggy, but it will burn off by mid to late morning. We'll have sunshine for the rest of the day today. Two things I wanted to keep a close eye on, and I'm letting you know right now they're going to be doing some construction work on the Chumpstick Highway because they got some sections of the Chumpstick that's been getting beat up pretty good with all the extra traffic. And that's today, by the way, could spill into tomorrow. And take a look at the snow totals. It really begins tonight. A little bit today, but I mean, Stevens is going to get 56 inches of snow. I-90 is going to get 41 inches of snow. That's minimum. Blewett's only going to get about 8 inches of snow. What do we have down here? Rain, for the most part, once we get through today. Lots of sunshine today. We'll get up to about 41 degrees. Clouds are back tonight. 29 for the overnight low. And unlike today, the clouds and the fog not going to burn off on Tuesday. By the afternoon, we'll see some rain with a high of 38 degrees. Chance of rain Tuesday night. Chance of rain Wednesday afternoon. All of those afternoon highs that you see are above normal and about 2,500 feet and above. Lots of snow. That's it for us. Start your Tuesday with us tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.